कलरफुल होने दो
This is especially for the men as well. And in the Ministry of External Affairs, we were trying to see how we could commemorate this very special day and commemorate it in a manner that would be meaningful to all the women who we celebrate, as well as the men who work along with us. So to the men who are here today, let me tell you, also it is as much your day as ours, and you're a large part of what we do, just as we are a large part of what your lives are about. So with that, I will just welcome you all to this day. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have with us first the Solar Grandmamas of Silonia. I must express my thanks to the Delhi Minstrels Choir for the wonderful music that they gave us. Express my thanks to the the Indian Women's Press Club, who we had an interaction with earlier today. A round of applause for the media. And we made one decision today, that was to rename the multi-purpose hall in Jawaharlal Nehru Bhavan as the C.B. Mutamma Hall. There is one section of women that have not been acknowledged. We have acknowledged everybody else. And these are the ladies of the CISF, you know, who stand duty all the time Are any of them over here? Could we request them to come forward, please? आइए स्टेज पे आइए, and I would request my PSO, who's not from CISF but who's from Delhi Police, to join them. Aiye, Sushma ji. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Aiye. Aiye. Okay, now that I have your attention, just let me keep you for 2 more minutes. Just to tell you, today I was looking at what International Women's Day is all about, and I'm not sure how many of you know, but at the end of 3 minutes you will. Okay? So, it was originally called the International Working Women's Day, and celebrations range from all kinds of things, but apparently there are 2 stories as to how it started. One story is that women from the clothing and textile factories, guess where? New York City, staged a protest on March 8, 1857, protesting against very poor working conditions and low wages, and apparently they were dispersed by the police. This is all from the internet, so I don't claim any great historical research. So this event was commemorated 50 years later in 1907. Okay, that's one version. Now the other version is that it was actually started in the socialist bloc, primarily in Europe, including in Russia. And in Russia, in 1917, demonstrations marking International Women's Day in St. Petersburg on the last Sunday in February, which fell on March 8th on the Gregorian calendar, initiated the February Revolution. Women in St. Petersburg went on strike that day for bread and peace, demanding the end of World War I and an end to Russian food shortages. Leon Trotsky wrote, 23rd February, which is actually 8th March, was International Women's Day, and meetings and actions were foreseen, but we did not imagine that this Women's Day would inaugurate the revolution. Revolutionary actions were foreseen but without date, but in morning, despite the orders to the contrary, textile workers left their work in several factories and sent delegates to ask for support of the strike, which led to mass strike. All went out into the streets. So it was officially adopted in Russia following the Soviet Revolution in 1917. And in the West, International Women's Day first observed as a popular event after 1977, when the UN General Assembly invited member states to proclaim March 8th as the UN Day for Women's Rights and World Peace. So every year it has a theme: women uniting for peace, women in decision making, investing in women and girls, women and men united to end violence against women and girls, and this year's equality for women is progress for all. I must end with some very nice, actually quite a delightful thing on a 1932 Soviet poster dedicated to the March 8th commemoration. It read, 8th of March is the day of rebellion of the working women against kitchen slavery. Down with the oppression and narrow-mindedness of household work. I'm not sure we have got to that stage yet, but let me first express my thanks to all the colleagues, including my fellow Sujata, Secretary ER, who was responsible for bringing the barefoot grandmamas here, to JSXPD for putting the rest of the program together, and for everybody who has worked with us in welcoming here today. Please enjoy the day. Thank you.